This isn't my best quality, but this isn't a edited video. This is a real video, my favorite kind, the kind that involved the least effort on the superficial side. I am in my room, sitting in front of my fireplace because I'm cold, drinking my Olipop, studying, and I haven't given you guys really an update too much. So the quick update is, when I'm not on YouTube, the chances were that I was on TikTok. I had built my TikTok platform. As of recently, I think I'm on like week 3, maybe week 2. I'm not sure which one, but it's been a few weeks of not being on TikTok. I took a break from TikTok and Instagram. I have since uploaded once on YouTube, I believe once, as a hair video, completely organic. That is the way that I'm choosing to do things. That's the way that I've always kind of done things, is when it comes to me. So I shared a hair video with you guys, but I haven't given you guys a real update. So the update is, I had been on TikTok this whole time. I'm currently taking a break from TikTok and Instagram because it's just too emotionally charged and I need a break. And I'm also kind of navigating what my future looks like on the internet because of my platforms being so transparent. I'm noticing that that's not, it's a gift and a curse on the internet. I do not feel shame. I don't feel regret about being as transparent, as open as I have on my platforms, but it's a gift and a curse with the internet. The internet is very much Pandora's box. But anyway, took a break from those things, but I have been willing and open to post to YouTube as it comes to me. Another update, I have started classes to be a sterile processing technician. So I'm studying sterilization, microbiology, getting refreshers on anatomy and medical terminology because, as some of you guys know, I have done medical billing and coding. As a whole, I got an associate's degree in allied health, which this is like the base knowledge that you need to have. So this is kind of some of the stuff other than the sterilization side and the decontamination side of it. A lot of this is a refresher as far as like the anatomy and medical terminology goes. So yes, I'm back in class. Something positive, I'm really enjoying learning right now because I felt like for a while I was in like a vegetative state, and it was like negatively impacting me mentally, and I don't think I understood until now how important it is to always be learning, and like exercising your brain. And unfortunately, my job is very comfortable right now. It's a very great position for flexibility, for transitioning. I have no complaints about my job. It is a personal thing. I personally feel like a vegetable, and I remember that feeling, and it doesn't feel good. I feel like it slows life down, but speeds up mental health issues. So I'm very happy to be back in like a setting where I'm learning, where I'm being challenged, where I'm having to like study and read. And it's funny, if you asked me when I was in high school and like school, I would have told you I hate those things. But I guess it's just a necessary evil, for like the benefit of your brain. Anyway, I didn't mean to rant into all of that. But yes, career-wise, job-wise, I am approaching sterilization. I want to try it. I'm a behind the scenes kind of girl. I do like healthcare, and I think a lot of people contribute healthcare with like direct patient care. And so like whenever people hear that you're like studying in healthcare, the first things they think of is like a nurse or like being an actual physician or something. And there's other behind the scenes roles that you can have in healthcare that aren't directly patient care. And I am that girl. I am not interested in direct contact with too many people if I can help it. And so this is another one of those things that you can do in healthcare that is more so behind the scenes, aside from being like a secretary or working in the lab, or like there's little things that you can do that don't have to be directly on the floor. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. Update with like job, career. Another reason why I pulled the camera out and decided to get on here, and again, I apologize for the quality because I'm looking at myself and I'm like, this is so grainy, but it's authentic. And so for the sake of authenticity, I'm going to post it anyway. Trigger warning, because I understand that those are necessary these days. Trigger warning. If you are in a vulnerable state mentally, and in so many words, it's really hard for you to fight. I would urge you to log off if you're in a vulnerable state, if you want to seek, if you feel like you're at your wit's end mentally, if you're thinking of doing anything drastic, if you're having any sort of ideations of harm or anything like that, please seek help. There are hotlines that you can call. Please speak to someone, speak to several people. And don't watch the rest of this video because I respect your journey and I don't want to trigger anyone. And I'm going to be vulnerable. But to keep it brief and vulnerable, you get tired of being strong. You get tired of fighting. I am not going to cry just yet. I feel like it is easy to weigh your problems against the world, right? It's easy to say, well, I think practicing gratitude is very important. Don't get me wrong. Being grateful is very important. And I do my best. I can honestly say I do my best to be grateful for the small things. I really emphasize appreciating the smallest things. Even the fact that I have a home to come to, a bed. I spend a lot of time by myself and I'm okay with that. I, appreciate very little things, being able to eat what I want to eat, having such a flexible job. Like, I appreciate very little things. Blankets, socks. I appreciate socks. I appreciate this little fancy fireplace thing that's blowing warm air on me. Like, I encourage gratitude for anything you can think of. However, For those of you that understand that you get tired of fighting mental battles on top of the things that you cannot control in the world. And as we all know, as we walk about the world, there is always something. And I don't want to get into the details right now, but there's always something. And it's just frustrating, man, because you get over one hurdle and there's another one. And that gratitude that you practice is really important because, like I said, there's always going to be something. And the fight sometimes just feels like it's not rewarding. Like you can't see the fruits of your labor right away. And when you're a person like myself that has always struggled to fit into the world, and on the opposition side, you could tell a person like, you should embrace being unique. You should embrace not fitting in the box. That's great. And I do believe that for other people. However, when it's time to turn the mirror on myself, it's hard because our world does have boxes that they strongly enforce, and there are influence around you and societal expectations and just requirements to live. There are certain things that you have to live up to really bare minimum survive in the world that I feel like a lot of people struggle with, but that's our world. And so not fitting in a box is not convenient sometimes. A lot of times in this world, it's not very convenient. And I can only speak for myself, but I struggle really bad with my mental versus the world and where I fit in and my place in it and how I see myself and how I'm also navigating the things that I cannot control and the things that I can control. It's just like a dance. And when I was in therapy, I remember specifically my therapist bringing up grief counseling, which among all of my problems that I can admit, grief wasn't something I ever considered. And like I said, I'm not really ready to share the specifics of what's going on, but grief is a huge part of it. And I don't think I really thought about it and was really open to it at the time. So I'm like, grief, I'm fine. And I think it's so easy to say you're fine, especially when you start comparing what's a big deal and what's not a big deal compared to people around you, or what could be worse. You know, you always hear like, oh, it could be worse. But she brought up grief. And for those of you that aren't new here, I have a video talking about my dad's passing years ago when it first happened. And I don't even know how long it's been at this point. I have to go back and look at that video, but it's been years. And I think of among all the things that you can't control in the world, a passing of a person is one of those things. And I don't really have the words right now, but I think when it comes to your parents, we don't really think of their mortality because you think of like the ideal version of the way life goes, and your parents make it to late 70s, 80s before they start to really decline or leave your life. That's the ideal way that it goes. You know, they can't live forever, but you really think you don't deal with that stuff till like late 70s. And so after losing one parent, it has been sort of like a PTSD of mine, especially because it was sudden, it was not expected, and I was still young in my opinion. It's like a PTSD of being an orphan. I might have talked about this before. And so when you have your other parent that gets sick, in so many words, it's just a panic, a paranoia. And I'm just going to leave it at that because this video is already really vulnerable and it's really fresh for me right now. But you just get paranoid. And I still think that I'm ready to admit that grief is probably a huge thing for me right now. Yeah. This is gonna be too emotional now, but that's my update. It wasn't meant to be this long, but for those of you that like to know what's going on but also respect my space, I appreciate y'all immensely. I am so, speaking of gratitude, I'm so appreciative of the communities that I've created on these platforms. There's like an unspoken thing with us. Like, some of you are so good at just keeping it simple, like, hey, it's good to see you. I hope you're doing okay. And I love that. I feel like not enough of that gets magnified. My little community here on YouTube and my little community on TikTok is great. Like, we understand each other. I don't post a lot. We don't talk a lot. There's not a lot of back and forth, but I feel like we get each other. Like, pop in. Like, those are the people that I don't feel like are appreciated enough. The people that just like pop in and give you little, yo, you good? I'm here for you. I'm wishing the best for you. Like, some people, if you need anything, I just appreciate that. And I like to shout that out as often as I can because we get each other. It's a little community. So enough about me. I'm gonna go. I hope that all of you are still fighting as hard as it is. I hope that you are still fighting. Unpopular opinion. I respect people that just can't do it. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's an unpopular opinion. It's very controversial, but I understand people that gave it their best. I get it. But for those of us that have the capacity, and please find the capacity, the best that you can, to keep going. Have your moment, like I am right now. Have your moment. Lean on people around you if you can. Seek help. Don't be afraid to get help. I would love to just jump back into therapy right now. Part of me wishes I didn't take a break and I just stuck with it. Especially when you don't want to lean on the people around you. I get that. Because everybody has their stuff. I get it, trust me. But let your support system tell you that they don't have the capacity. Try not to make the answer for them. Like, trust them enough to tell you, like, look, I don't have it for you, but let me refer you to this, or this is what I can do for you. Try not to answer the question for them and say, oh, nobody, I don't want to bother people. They don't have time for me. Like, I do that, and it's not a good thing. Give your support system the benefit of the doubt. If you have it, there are other resources. If you don't have a support system, do your best. Keep fighting. I know that's cliche, but that's all I got right now. It's cliche because I'm trying to hold on to the cliche. So, hope you guys are well. It was good to talk and get it out. These videos really help me when I don't want to bother the people around me. It's kind of like a little video diary. Even if I'm just talking to myself, it really does help me. So yeah, you guys, I'll see you around. I'll be back when it serves a purpose. I hope you all are well. Feel free to leave a comment. And I'll see you guys in the next one.